Okay, so we've made our first endpoint. Let's go ahead and create another one. And we're going to call this one, around my API, it's going to be called create region. So we'll do create underscore region. Oh, right, we forgot the test at the beginning. We need to have test underscore create region. So I'm just going to copy this, all of this, just to make it faster. So we'll do test create region, keep the naming the same. And so what I'm going to do just for the sake of this series is, yes, I could probably get away with running this data on production, but I'm going to get rid of that. So for when we actually get to the markers, so you can see these actually taking effect and working. So in this case, we're going to change a couple of things, work with a couple of new things here. So we're going to need to actually save our data in our data folder. And something to keep in mind is our data folder only works when you import a folder. If you import a specific file from our framework, you need to make sure that file doesn't have any data folders or anything associated with it, or you just put the data in the test, because you won't be able to pull another folder with a file, basically, with our framework. So keep that in mind. But in this case, I'm going to be actually changing our path or directory to this folder so it grabs it all on our actual framework. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to create a JSON data fixture. So let's go ahead and import OS and import JSON. To grab our data path, we're going to do JSON. I'm just going to keep it like this, and you pretty much can keep this like the same throughout all your tests. Once you have it, JSON data fixture equals, I know, more path code. Here we go. os.path dot absolute path, and then we're going to do os.path dot join, and we're going to be taking in our os path.dir name with our file, just like this. So we have that, and we're going to go up a level, and another one, and then that's going to get us to our data, or it should. We'll test this out just to make sure. That should be the correct path here. Okay, so we have our JSON data fixture, which should be importing data from here when we get to that. So let's go ahead and actually make a function here. Def get JSON data. I'm gonna put an underscore. This will not get picked up because it does not have test underscore, so you'll be safe with that. What are we taking in here? Absolutely nothing. So, but we will be returning a dictionary, so, which is JSON in Python. So we're going to do with open of our JSON data fixture plus OSSEP plus our file name, which, what do we want to call this? We'll just call our file name here create region, or post. We'll do the method type, so it's going to be post underscore create underscore region dot JSON. So we have that. We'll fill that out here in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and put that in here. And our method for this is just going to be reading. So with this, we need to actually set our data value here. So data will equal to JSON dot load JSON file, which I forgot to name here as JSON file. Data equals JSON.load, and then we're going to just close that. And I'm going to do that just to be more verbose. So JSON file dot close. Okay, so we've got a method for getting our JSON data. Now, what data do I need to pass in? Luckily, I've already created a Postman collection for this. So in my case, I'm just going to drag this over. You can see it's pretty simple. It's just a name and a description. So what I'm going to do is just copy that over. And we're going to post that in here. So with my specific code here, I can't have or I guess my specific endpoint, I can't have a similar name. So what I'm going to have to do is come up with something a little bit creative here and maybe like generate a random string name. And so I can do that with this. And what I mean by that is I'm going to actually inject a new name for this. So I'm going to take its old name and then I'm just going to add a timestamp to it just to, just to hopefully make sure it's unique. So what we can do here is we're going to go to data at name. We're going to set that to itself plus a timestamp, which I am just going to copy from our conf test method in the PyTest configure, just so I don't have to write that again. So we'll just do that, and that should be it, and we should be good with that. So our next step is to actually create a request. And what we're going to do here is we're going to basically change this from request.get to request.post. We're going to make sure our endpoint is correct here. So in this case, we're going to be in region, and I believe it's /create. And we're going to add one more field here. That's going to be our actual JSON data. So you can do this. JSON, actually, I'm going to just keep it like this so it's cleaner. JSON equals, and now all I'm going to do is call our JSON data method. Simple as that. And then we're going to basically keep exactly the same stuff here. So it's going to be a print, and it's going to, instead of get, it's going to be post with our status code and our response. And like I said earlier, I'm making this super simple, but you can put in as many assertions, as many tests as you want here. But just for the sake of time and the video in this course, I'm just going to keep this super simple, make sure my endpoint's okay. So let's go ahead and save that, and let's go back over to our automation framework and run this and see what happens. Okay, so just to make this quick change, like I was saying earlier, I'm going to actually import the root folder now instead of just the API tests. So let's go ahead and make that change. I'll put my real data back in, and let's run this and see what happens. Okay, so I've got my previous command up still, so let's go ahead and run this and hope it works. Fingers crossed. Okay, so why did it not collect anything? Let's go ahead and debug this. Okay, so a couple of things I noticed we need to change here. I need to remove one of these. Don't need to go up one more level. And I need to add the .json here. And I forgot to return the data here, so that might help a little bit. So let's go ahead and try this again. I'll switch back over. Okay, so we're back over here. Let's go ahead and run this. Switch this back over to the copy method, and let's do it now. And you can see we are passing, so let's go ahead and bring this up. And let's check out what's going on here. So our get call is still in here, which is really good. And here's our post call with our region. So we got our ID, all this stuff, blah, 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 and it looks good. So let's go on to another endpoint. It's going to be another post endpoint related to region data. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that.